Okay, good.
Good day, everyone. My name is Javon Hankins.
I'm Vanessa Sacco.
And I'm Shanda Spolsky. We did the Better Block down in New Kensington. Okay. So a little bit background of what New Kensington is. It was a booming community that was based around the steel mill industry. There was a little bit of small department stores and other larger industries that were in the area, and a lot of mom and pop shops. But whenever the steel mill closed, a lot of the people had to move to find new jobs, and then the community started to diminish. So what Better Block did with the partnership of the Habitat for Humanity, they are going to kind of hit the restart button and go from the bottom up and restore what New Kensington used to be.
Okay, so before we can look at the objectives, we have to check out the obstacles that Better Block faces. First of all, there's a lack of representation of businesses in New Kensington, which prevents Better Block from getting good, well-known vendors at the event. Secondly, there's high crime rate, and usually surrounding areas associate that with minority groups. And third of all, there's a lack of citizen loyalty and communication, which basically means that New Kensington does not give the program enough support. We need more support at home. And there's a lack of communication between Better Block and the citizens of New Kensington. So the objectives are to increase consumer awareness, to attempt to diminish racial stereotypes, and to help Better Block to grow for future events to better meet the needs of the people that attend it. So looking at the core competencies, Better Block has a small group of very dedicated and hardworking volunteers that do a lot with the limited resources that they have. They exhibit product excellence by providing activities that meet many different interests of all of their attendees. They provide people with a feeling of ambition and aspiration to make them feel good by attending the event. It also connects local communities. It brings a lot of people together. And it has a powerful ethical climate and makes you think more about how can I help my community rather than just helping myself. It also completes its corporate social responsibility just by having the event, and it accomplishes a unique experience with just a small funding of $3,500, which is split between the event in the spring and the event in the fall. So a few competitors. There's a Better Block in Pittsburgh, specifically Homewood. Grow Pittsburgh, they try to beautify neighborhoods with the use of gardens. A+ Schools focusing on better education, less inequality, and TASK stands for Teens Against Senseless Violence. So the value proposition. Better Block offers a unique experience for all surrounding communities that wish to make a difference and rebuild New Kensington. This is mainly what's used to target the audience to get people motivated to attend. And because it is a welcoming event, they want as many people to come as possible. There are a ton of different interests that are included. So for the event, they segment based on your lifestyle, and they provide activities for that, such as art, cars, fashion, etc. And it's designed to meet the social and esteem needs of people. So we need to think about, oh, how do people interact in their social setting? You know, what do they prefer? And how does this event make them feel like they're bettering themselves? So looking at the price, it's free to attend, open to the public. Vendors have to pay $50, and nonprofit vendors pay $25. And you're able to make purchases of your choice depending on what your interests are. So the place, location is obviously the purpose of the event, and everything present is used to reinforce New Kensington's potential for the future. Promotion, because Better Block does have limited resources and a very limited budget, they don't have many options for promotion right now. They do have a Facebook, and they do reach out to communities by phone calls, and they try to use public places to try to spread it more by word of mouth. So macro-environmental factors, there is a really high poverty rate in New Kensington. 23% of the population is in poverty. There are few businesses for job opportunities, so many of these people have trouble finding employment. There is a mediocre public school system. They're not really trying to prepare you for the future. They're more focusing on the short term, getting you to graduation. There is no motivation, unfortunately, for outsiders to enter because there isn't anything to appeal them to come into the city. And there's a lack of awareness in surrounding communities about the conditions of New Kensington.
All right. Our interview process. So we decided to interview 3 people from different backgrounds. We believe that it would give us a diverse response. We interviewed in places of convenience after the event took place. And we had difficulty finding a focal point of discussions for each interviewer. Questions were designed to obtain valuable data for us. General public awareness. All right, so we learned from the event through social media and schools and between families and friends is where most people learn about the event that took place. Social media was the most influential and cost-effective. The baby boomers and the Generation X were greatly influenced by the newspaper. Lack of attendance and motivations. People, due to their active schedules, they weren't able to commit to be a part of Better Block. So that was one reason. The lack of the appealing vendors, and they didn't want to attend for emotional attachment. Some people, a lot of the older people, knew what New Kensington used to be. They didn't want it to remind them of what it is now. Racial issues. People were intimidated to come to the event because of the racial stereotypes and the crime associated with African Americans. The fact remains that 10% of the population that's only 10% of the population is African Americans. And Habitat for Humanity works with families of diversity, such as single parents and people with disabilities. Improvements for the events. We believe that the event should be held annually, especially geared towards the spring where the weather is better. One of the issues that they had for the fall event was the weather wasn't nice and people didn't want to come out because it was too cold. And also there were other activities going on around the same day which the community couldn't come out to attend, like sports and things like that. Hopeful expectations. They're already seeing improvements in the economy, less evidence of crime, greater cooperation and unity in the community, and to be successful, it needs time. That was one of what our interviewer said, that it needs time, that it needs to be consistency, and after 5 years you just can't give up on the community. You have to continue fighting for that.
Okay, so a little bit about the marketing strategy. You need support of the people, and you have to kind of pull on their heartstrings and help them remember what New Kensington used to be and what we can make it again. You have to interact with the community throughout the year, not just one weekend where you expect people to show up when you haven't really done much for them. Have a constant flow of advertising and people volunteering. So for an event in May, kind of start in February, March, getting it into their minds and having it on their calendar ready to go so they know what to do for that event. You want to gain the trust of the current and the long-time residents. Start from the bottom of the hierarchy of needs, and then hopefully you'll get to the top by the end of the 5 years. So one of the things that we can do to gain the trust is attend job fairs like the one that we hold here at PSNK. Have a booth, hopefully get people to come and volunteer, and give you some new, fresh ideas. Get involved with the local leaders. The mayor does back it already, but see what else we can do. Team up with the local churches and the school districts and see what else some of the other volunteer departments can help out with. For the market development, our target area is the emotional attachment that people have and the families in the area. As you can see from all of the ones that are in the surrounding communities, more than 50% of the residents are families. So if we hit the school district and kind of grab the students and start them from young, hopefully they'll have pride in their community and want to help. And if we hit with the art program, have them make some murals and different things to where it kind of shows the history of New Kensington. Each grade can kind of make their own history throughout the year and then have some, what do you think New Kensington's going to look like in 5 years from now? What do you want your community to look like?
And also, by getting children involved, it sort of provides the parents with a responsibility to attend the event, because that's where the artwork is going to be shown. And hopefully from that, won't just be immediate, it will be grandparents, aunts and uncles, things like that will be enticed to go.
So for the virtual marketing, they do already have a Facebook page, but it is private. The only way that you can get in is if somebody either okays it or invites you to come in. So if we make a public Facebook page, create a Twitter and Instagram to kind of hit the younger generation, we can get our name out more. And it kind of creates a more flexible way for the volunteers to make connections with who's in charge. They can ask questions, get updates kind of instantly versus going through the chain of emails and phone calls. If we create the social media page for the local leaders, they can bring their peers and influences that are behind them to kind of help out with this event. At May, if we are doing another May event, we can collect the emails and send out a newsletter monthly or bi-monthly of what's going on and what we need help with. Also kind of start an alert system through text message updates and whatnot like that. This is an example of what the Instagram page could possibly look like. These are all pictures from the past events. So if you're posting current time pictures, people sitting at home scrolling through their social media feed can see it and be like, oh, hey mom, can we go down to New Ken and see what's going on? I want to be a part of it. This is an example of what the public Facebook page could look like, posting teasers and different things leading up to the event to get people hyped up for it.
Okay, so to better fix the event, we need to do a couple adjustments. First of all, there should only be an annual event in the spring due to risky weather and just more people are home from college, that sort of thing. More people are able to attend the event. Research also needs to be done for other anticipated events that are going to happen on the day of the event. As Yvonne said, there were homecomings and school dances for the last event that prevented families from being able to go. The event should be closed off to traffic to better condense the size of it, and greater well-known vendors should be there. To condense the size, it would create congestion and more interaction among the people that do attend. And the layout should be done by lifestyle, so each activity should fall into its different category based on lifestyle and be presented that way along the event. And then lastly, the very popular vendors, or like the food vendors, should be in the center of the event to get people to walk through the traffic and then venture outwards from their own personal lifestyle. Okay, pricing strategy. So the current price for Better Block vendors, $50 for a normal vendor, $25 for a nonprofit. This may seem like it would bring in a large revenue, but actually can prevent businesses from wanting to come to invest because they feel like it's not worth it. So because of that, we need to find the economic value to the customer. Better Block needs to go out to businesses, ask them what they believe the value of the event is, and then compare it to the cost of the event and find that median price level that would get more businesses to come. And in order to persuade businesses, we're going to use the marketing mix, of course. First, start with the product of the event. We need to create the value. This event will help them with their corporate social responsibility. It's their duty to attend and help the community. Second, the promotion, how to demonstrate the value. Promise these businesses that we'll get media to cover what they're doing and their efforts will be acknowledged. For price, how to capture the value proposition was, as stated before, we need to negotiate a price that better suits businesses. And lastly, the place to deliver the value. Obviously, New Kensington, the whole purpose. These businesses will be exposed to prospective customers that all live in the surrounding area of New Kensington. And lastly, how do we measure these strategies that we're suggesting? First, we need to create a survey for feedback. We need to know what the people that attend really think about the event, what are their comments, what are their questions. We can do this through social media for distribution and implement a customer service view into the event. Or for population measurements, we should track vendor sales and compare them to last year's estimated population. And lastly, to compare the profits using the pricing strategies, compare the profits, simply compare the profits of this year's compared to last year's. Thank you.
Very good. Any questions? Come on, yes, Matt.
Did you, when you were researching your vendors, did you find any like really big ticket vendors that haven't attended any of the Better Blocks previously that you could possibly bring in to generate, a better presence?
We kind of struggle with finding vendors, just as Better Block does, because of course there aren't many businesses. We suggest that possibly reach out to like other areas, so like the surrounding communities, to see if their vendors can get involved. But we do know that because New Kensington is so affordable, that they are getting new sort of pop-up businesses, I believe, that are getting involved. My family knows of like 2 people that have already moved to New Kensington, so.
Okay.
Any other questions? How can the Better Block and the Bridges collaborate?
Definitely if you team up with them and they do implement their new classes that Mike was talking about, it'll bring up the education and make it more of an importance. And then if we get the connection with them from the beginning, they'll bring the businesses back here and hopefully help develop and use the financial tools.
And also with the use of their website, if that gets a lot of attention, and hopefully they post about Better Block events, we'll get more volunteers and more people to attend.
And that's just it. I mean, what they stated, some of their competitors, as we list, like Grow Pittsburgh, TAS, and A+ schools, they essentially all work together for the same purpose but different aspects. So Grow Pittsburgh focuses on urban areas and African Americans, on sustaining them with quality food and healthy food, because that's one of the concerns in the areas like that. They don't have the access to an A+ school. Focus on inequality for education. They want education to be the same so that those people can go to school and get those degrees and hopefully come back in the community and contribute. You know what I mean? And Operation Better Block in Homewood does the same thing. So working together as they do, that was like one of the models that we looked up to helping Better Block.
For those of us who are not familiar with Better Block, even in New Kensington, can you elaborate a little bit what was the setup right now and where it was actually located, and why would you suggest like condense the event?
Okay, so it was on 4th and 5th Street.
Are we all
blocks.
familiar with that? We know what it's talking
It's like
about.
a huge circle, basically, just like
Right down where the Shop and Save and like main areas used to be.
Right.
The Hearts department store was down there with the former Just Shop. Yeah.
And in that area, there's a lot of vacant buildings that they sort of dressed up to show like the potential of New Kensington. But unfortunately, the event was like very spread out, and it was more like people walking around and getting together and talking to each other. Do you want me to talk about the activities that were there? Or?
And why isn't spread out bad?
A lot of people didn't know what was going on the other block. Most people stayed right on 4th and didn't know that there was options to go to 5th. There were 2 stages. The main stage was right off by 4th, and so people kind of did gather around there and forgot about what was going on. So if the people are spending money and having time, like the vendors, to be there, you want people to show that they care about them and appreciate that they gave up their time to be there. So if you kind of condense it and make awareness of who all is there, then hopefully it'll succeed a little bit better.
And it was a one-way street too, so it was difficult for parking and things like that. And we believe if we consolidated, or even we suggested to have like a information booth, so as you come in, you can kind of check in, and they'll give you a pamphlet, hopefully, or something like that that will guide you to that. Because without that, you're just walking around looking for someone who's involved to try to figure out where to go.
And you say if the whole purpose of Better Block is to revitalize New Kensington, but in the same time you said that on the day of the event, most of the vacant buildings are still vacant, and the businesses that operate there, there were not anything to like hook people to go and like visit or stop at the stores.
Exactly. So by condensing it, put more time and effort into something small and making the outcome greater, basically. Like take more time to decorate it and make it look good and appealing to attract people to come.
I like your last slide that you said that if the Better Block can present the value to the businesses to let them know how involved in this Better Block, especially on the day of the event, would sort of help the business in which way. And I think that's very important because you said that it still lack a lot of local businesses, attendance or participants or like political figures in the area.
Right.
They're not really like part of it. So you want to make it more like significant
Yeah.
event of the city.
Yeah, and I think by implementing like the leaders of like certain groups into the organization, there won't even be that like much promotion needed just because there would be so much word of mouth going on.
I know that Mike, he's, I think you knew a very popular rapper, right? Maybe you can invite that person to the event. And like, we need a publicity, like a public figure person who
That
like
helps too.
spread
Yeah.
out.
That definitely helps, because like for A+ school, they held an event, and usually Dr. Lane, I think is her name, the superintendent for the
yes.
school, she
Dr.
comes
Lane.
along, and because people know she's coming, other people start coming
That's true.
as well, so that always helps.
Very good. Any other questions?
I just have more like a comment on the
Yes,
question,
please.
but I agree with when you said if like the events like real spread out, no one's really gonna know anything. Because I know maybe if I go someplace and like there's no structure to like the event that I'm going to, well then it's just gonna cause confusion, and then I'm not gonna know what's going on, and I'm just gonna leave. So that idea that would probably solve a lot of the problems, I think too.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you very much for those. All right, Matt, you ready? You have your presentation in the flash drive?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you that it's too big to upload to Angel.
Okay, so you can just.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it in there.
Oh, so you logged
I
off?
logged off in mine.
Oh.
Matt can log in.
Yeah, I'll log on. It's fine.
Okay. You want to log on or you want me to log on?
Yeah, I'll log on.
Guys, and Oreo,
I didn't do that.
thank you.
So you have to put it in your thumbs on.